Okay. So
Thank you. That would be awesome.
yeah, so I'll just talk a little bit today about the Self-Publishing Made Simple author work group. I'll do a little bit of introductions, talk about the group overview and the self-publishing process, and kind of go through some Q&A for you. So again, I am recording it, so I'll make the session available for others. And this is a little bit about me and my journey. My name is April Cox. I don't recognize anyone here, but I'm a member of a lot of the author illustrator groups. I'm the founder of Little Labradoodle Publishing. And you know, my journey started with the love of my beautiful grandkids who are down here in the bottom right corner. And my love of Labradoodles, because we would just read picture book after picture book after picture book. And my little Labradoodle used to jump up on our laps. So we started making up stories about him. And I really needed a passion project. I felt like so unfulfilled at my job. So I said, this doesn't seem like it should be all that hard to do. Maybe I should write a book, and I'll, put my grandkids in the book. And that's what I did. And you can see here, we've got, bunch of coloring books, a couple of picture books as well, little plush. So, I mean, it turned into a really fun business for us. Feel free to jump in
Thank
with
you.
any questions that you have, by the way, as we're going. Don't feel like you have to hold off. So yeah, so I love it. And I kind of got into this kind of a situation where we had a lot of people in these author illustrator groups that had this kind of a total frustration. And I can remember being like this when I first started. And it's confusing. You don't think it's going to be so hard, and it shouldn't be so hard, but there's so much. And when I first got started, I wasted a lot of money. I signed a bad contract. I went through a lot of frustration, and the progress and the was stalled for a period of time. So it took me a lot longer to get through it than it should have. So when I got through, book 3, book 4, and I started realizing, wow, this is something that I'm getting. And my background, quite honestly, I've been 35 years in consulting, in IT and project management. And a lot of that is like, it basically means I'm a propeller head. I'm a geek that basically makes hard things easier. And my little propeller starts spinning when things are really difficult, and I say, I can do better than that. I can help people. So I started when people had some, questions, issues. I would start mentoring, pulling people together. And I started thinking, I can help them. And it would be a great thing to have a community or a work group together where people could just learn together, support one another, build a supportive environment. And let me make something that I wish I had when I was starting. So that's kind of what I did. So the goal for today is just to kind of give you an overview about the course, which I lovingly refer to as a work group, because it really is a community. And the commitment that we have, and kind of the structure around this is, what my goal is as an instructor is to provide you with a structure and a strong foundation for everything that you need to learn, to be there as an accountability partner, to provide you with the tools and resources and expertise that you need, and to have that strong community of people working together to help you every step of the way, so that you can go from your manuscript to a published book within the 12-week period. So that's typically what we're driving towards. I'll stop there and just ask, does anybody have any questions so far?
No.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So this next work group that we have starting begins on Thursday. I'm so excited. It is a 5:14 start. And some of the things that you can expect with regard to this structure is weekly reading and assignments. And this is the book that we use. Funny story about how this all came to be is when I was publishing my first book, I was just nervous to click that publish button, and I kept going, maybe just one more editor, and I wanted one more person to tell me it was ready. So I happened to reach out to this amazing lady, Bobby Hinman, and she came very highly recommended. She has 5 picture books that are part of the Best Fairy Book series, 28 Picture Book Awards, 2017 series, best series from Moonbeam. So she's just an amazing woman, and she edited my book, worked with me, and I absolutely loved working with her. But as part of the editing package, she sent me a copy of her book, which was here. And I got the book in the mail, and I was reading the book, and I was like the sky opened up and the angels sang and shined down on me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like tells me everything I needed to know about publishing. It takes me right from the beginning to the end, and it's focused around publishing a children's book. So I loved it, and I talked with Bobby Hinman, and I said, Bobby, would you be okay if I were to use your book as kind of the foundation and structure for the students and authors that I want to help? And she said, April, not only can you use the book, but I will be happy to come and speak to your students and kind of be a co-host for you. So she is an amazing speaker. She's a fantastic editor, comes very highly recommended. And so we do have her, as well as many others, which I'll kind of touch on. But the format that I've put together is weekly live meetings. They will all get recorded because not everybody's going to be able to make it every week. So we're going to do the live meetings on Thursdays from 8 to 9 p.m. And by the next day, the recording will be available for anyone who has missed it or wants to go through it again. I also block off 2 hours every week where I just show up. No agenda. It's optional. You don't have to attend. But if you have questions on the reading, you have a specific issue you want help with, I'm just there for anybody who drops in. So sometimes it's, an individual that says, I'm trying to copyright this, my edit's done, I'm trying to copyright and I'm having trouble navigating the system. Can I walk through it? And I say, go ahead, share your desktop and let me walk you through it. There are others that have, questions or issues. They're working with an illustrator and they want to show me some samples. So we have all kinds of people. And then some people just show up because they learn a lot from other people's questions. And I thought that was interesting. The people that have attended those sessions get so much out of it. So then those are available. And I also bring in special guest speakers. So as we go through all of the different topics, not one person cannot know everything. I'm really good at helping you navigate and get set up, navigate through the journey. But areas that I'm learning and doing, getting better and better, but I'm certainly not an expert. Marketing, publicity, going through, some of those areas where I'm not an expert, or I just want to be able to provide you with a fresh perspective. I bring on other people who
would you mind putting the
those
book down?
things for you.
Thank you.
So we have, and here's like some of the topics that we cover. It's, it's really A to Z. We go through the whole process. And this is not all inclusive, but filing your copyright, writing a good manuscript, the editing process, the illustration process from beginning to end. If you need to help finding and being matched with an illustrator, then we help with that as well. I have contracts that I'll share with you for your author illustrator contract that will protect your rights. And so all of these things that I have created over time, I make available to you. We also talk about graphic design, lots of information about marketing, writing good descriptions and making sure that your copy that you put on your listing is going to sell. We have presentations about school visits, social media marketing, all of these things and more. Because when I come and sit for 2 hours with no particular agenda, then those that show up at that meeting can take us, the questions can take us anywhere. And I will make sure that if I don't have an immediate answer, that I'm pulling information together, getting somebody in that can talk more about it. So lots and lots of great information. Accountability is to each other, and you know, kind of gives you some assignments and some things that you're going to do along the way to help make sure that you continue to move your book forward. So accountability is an important factor. And then support. So there's a number of support that I provide as part of this course. First and foremost is these weekly meetings that are an hour long. I will sign in a half an hour before and I'll stay an hour after the meeting. For anybody that wants to ask a question or needs help with something, I'm there. Plus you've got that 2-hour open office hours or drop-in hours. There's a lot of knowledge sharing, not just from me, but from others as well. I have a Facebook group that will be part of this session. So you'll be able to, when we're not together, post questions and we'll go through that as well. And I do have a component of one-on-one coaching, which is I will ask first and foremost at the beginning for you to set up a one-on-one so that I can walk through and learn more about you and about the issues specific to you. And then typically about halfway through, I'll do that again. And then toward the end of the group, I want to make sure that you are getting the support that you need to finish and your publishing journey, or to continue afterwards to make sure that you get some additional help and assistance. So you will have plenty of access to help and handholding. And here are a number of the people, and there's more, but I kind of pulled this together really quickly, that speak about a number of topics that have visited my author work group. So Lisa Furland is a crowdfunding expert. Jay Maletsky is very popular in that author illustrator work group, and he focuses a lot on the business side of publishing. This is Dave Chesson, who is the owner of kindlepreneur.com, and he has visited the group and spoke about specific things and encouragement for authors. Brian Meeks is a expert in Amazon descriptions and Amazon keywords and categories. He's actually written a couple of books on the topic, Mastering Amazon Ads and Mastering Amazon Descriptions. Lyda McClellan is a PR expert and marketing expert. Mary Nin is an amazing coach and entrepreneur who focuses on helping authors move through the process of self-publishing, but she focuses on grit and what is needed to be successful and to get your sales where they need to be. Also have a number of authors who have appeared and shared their story and their encouragement. And Daniel Jude Miller has appeared, and he's like an amazing speaker at schools where the majority of his income from books comes from school visits. So he talks to us about some of the things that make for successful school visits. So these are samples of the types of people that you will see coming in and out of our work group. And recordings that are also available for you, because I have a private YouTube group that has, gosh, about 100 hours of recordings from the groups that I've held, and with all these amazing speakers. That's available for you also as part of this. If you have specific questions, I may refer you to one of the sessions that we've held. And it's another great way to add specific expertise as well. So any questions? I just want to give it a pause before we go any further.
I have a question. Once the group starts on Thursday, will we have access to, actually, I think you answered the question. I think you said that we will have access to the recordings if we're not able to make it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I make the recordings available the very next day.
Okay.
So you'll be able to have access to that, and it's not a problem at all. So I also I'm just sharing this kind of mind map that I put together with regard to the self-publishing process. Most people think that publishing is just this: write the story, get it edited, create illustrations, design and format it, prepare for your launch, and then publish. This here is where most people spend their time. But what we do is we want you to start thinking about right up front your goals and strategy. Look at your budget, talk about the business, really understand the business side, and start thinking about marketing and planning that has to be done. For example, you can't self-publish alone. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but you are going to need a team of people to help you. For example, unless you're an author illustrator, then you need an illustrator to help with putting your illustrations together. You will need somebody to do a cover design for you, a layout of your book, to produce the files that you're going to need to load up into Amazon. You may need somebody to help you with setting up your Amazon account or coming up with keywords. So we talk a little bit about what's your budget, what are the things, how much can you expect all of this to cost, and I share budget spreadsheet with you. And start you thinking about how are you going to market your book? What is, who are your readers? What types of messages are going to resonate with them? Where are you going to sell your books? So we start to think about the marketing plan, the resource plan, what you're going to do to fund your book. And we start working through some of these things early on. And as we're also talking about some of the stuff that happens during the main part of publishing your book. So there's lots of things that happen. And then once the book is published, you want to make sure that you're executing on that marketing plan. You want to run ads, very likely. You're going to probably want to schedule events like school visits. And well, let's hope that by the time all this is done, that we'll start to see the ability to get those events out there with the current situation. But also monitoring your sales, tweaking things. Sometimes you try to play with some different descriptions on Amazon, seeing if you can get some, if it helps you get some click-throughs or purchases where if the text is not selling, if the description's not selling. So lots of things that have to happen after you publish your book and in order for you to stay successful. So we talk about the whole self-publishing process and give you the support that you need through all of it. And it can feel a little overwhelming. We do our best to give you, to touch on these things, give you assignments, give you resources, and just a drop-in time for you to be able to come in and say, wow, I'm overwhelmed. I'm learning a lot. I got some questions. Can you just help me answer these questions? And that's what we're here for, is to help get you through the process as efficiently and as stress-free as possible.
Do you have a checklist like this?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, so I have a checklist that I'm happy to share, which
Mhm.
has the majority of the tasks that we'll be going through on it. I have to expand it a little bit with regard to marketing activities because I want to be able to add, marketing plan, like what should people be doing with a marketing plan, and I don't have that incorporated yet into my checklist, but I do have a checklist that I can absolutely share. Okay. So let's see, common questions. Some people, it's more about fears and doubts. This is too complex? Am I going to be able to really do this? Well, 80% of the people that are surveyed or asked, would you love to write a book? Do you have a book in you? And they say, absolutely yes, they have one. Only a small percentage of those ever start writing their book. And of those that do start, only 1% ever finish because it's complex. There's a lot of things that, it's easy to run into a roadblock and just stop. So we're here to try to help you avoid that. Getting into a group like this can really help keep you on track, help you build relationships with other authors that you're seeing going through the same things as you are. And you will be able to create a high quality book. A lot of people think self-publishing is just, low quality. And there are, those types of thinking, there's that kind of thinking out there where people think, oh, you self-published, so it must not be a high quality book. Not anymore. Self-publishing there's some pretty amazing books out there. And I've got a number of them that I can share that were published right from our author work group that would put a lot of the traditionally published books to shame because they're so well done and so gorgeous. Some people struggle with the imposter syndrome. I hear, who am I to think I can have a best-selling book? I don't have a master's degree. I didn't go to school for writing. And so they put them down and they put themselves down. They doubt themselves. And you need to put that out of your mind. You can do this. We give you all of the things that you need. Your message is your message, and your book needs to be heard by, there's a family out there that's waiting for this message, and that imposter syndrome is just going to get in the way. So we put that aside and we focus on working together, and we just take it one step at a time. And then before you know it, it's your book out there that people are rushing to buy, and that's your bestseller badge, or number one new release out there. You can definitely do this. So don't let things get in your way, and don't let that negative self-talk in your mind prevent you from doing something that could really change the lives of someone else. Money is an issue with some, and they don't want to waste money. Especially because if you don't know what you're doing, you could very easily pay way more than you need to. I had one author who I was very lucky to be able to get her before she finalized a contract with a very predatory, they call them hybrid publishers. They say that they're going to publish your book, and they contacted her and said, we really liked your manuscript, we want to publish your book. And they were going to charge her $10,000 to publish her book. And she was going to have to pay for book printing. They were going to own all the rights. And I just said, stop. Join my work group and let me help you do this. Do not go with these predatory guys. You're going to spend a ton of money on something that, you don't need to do that. So now this author owns her own rights to everything. She spent about $1,200 to go, and that's including illustrations. And she is just watching her beautiful colored illustrations come to life. So she is so grateful. I mean, for $10,000, she could do 6 books or 7 books instead of just the one. And I have other authors who, unfortunately, I didn't get to them in time. And one individual who paid $20,000 because she had 2 or 3 books published by this predatory company, and now, you know, I recommended she get the rights, and like, let's, because they weren't high quality. They needed to be fixed. The illustrations were not good. The covers were not good. They weren't selling. So she contacted them to try to get her rights back, and they want to charge her $5,500 to get the rights back to her book. And she paid $20,000 to have it published, to have these 2 books published. So, you know, we want to help you avoid all of that, and we don't want you to waste money. So that's why, and my goal is to save you way more money than you're going to pay for this work group. Can you make money? Absolutely you can. And getting, you know, going about it the right way. Number one, the less money you spend, and the more deliberate you can, you know, spend it on quality things like illustrations versus predatory, you know, hybrid publishers, then you're going to have less money that's going to have to, you know, pay it back before you start making a profit. And we have experts in the area of sales, marketing, publicity, so that you can help learn more about how to turn your book into a profitable venture that can be a source of income for you if that's what you desire. So you just need the dedication and the knowledge and the practice, and that is definitely a possibility. And can you afford it? The way that I look at it is, if you've got the savings to work through, there's a lot of different budget options, from spending very little on illustrations. Like, illustrations is one area you can save a lot of money, but you want to make sure that you're having quality illustrations. If you don't have the money to do it well, then I would recommend looking at crowdfunding. And we do talk about crowdfunding, and we've had a crowdfunding expert that has come in and talked with the group for those who need to focus on crowdfunding, where you can, you know, go to Kickstarter, go to Indiegogo, get others to help support these efforts, so that you're not putting yourself in debt to create this book. And so there are options and things that we can think about as we're planning on your book. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's so important for the one-on-one strategy and planning session that we start with at the very beginning of this author work group, so that I can understand where I need to connect you with my network in order to align the support that you need all the way through the project. So that's kind of the whole thing about the group. I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about any questions you have that I haven't already answered. And then would love to, you know, here's the link to have you go in and get more information about the course, and to register for the 14th start. The price for the course right now is, because the early bird pricing is done, so it's $199 for 12 weeks, and you don't pay extra for the one-on-one coaching. You get, you know, the weekly meetings, the recordings, the support with me, the three coaching sessions, plus the 2 hours of the open office hours. You can drop in once a week if you want to. All of that is included in the $199 price, as well as the resources that I'll provide to you: the checklist, the contract, the budget spreadsheet, samples of marketing kits, press kits, and access to these other individuals that we'll bring in.
I have a question. The the book specs, will you talk about that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're saying, when you say book specs, I'm assuming that you mean like the size of the book,
Yes.
the cost for printing. Yes, we do all of that. And that's one of the first things that we do in the planning process is, you know, you need to start by handling book. Take a look at other books. If you're not reading at the library, you've probably got books on your bookshelf or a little free library in your area where you can go and you can find books and handle the different sizes. And you know, I have recommendations on the ones that are most common and able to both get printed on demand. So there's the print on demand, as well as you can print in bulk in hardcover with a printer. So that way, you know, that's another way to keep your costs down, is to make sure that the size that you're printing or that you're choosing for your book is also available print on demand. That way you don't have to take a lot of money out of your pocket to get your book sold. Ruth, anything more? Any other questions you have?
I don't think so right now. How much of a dedication do you need? I hate to say it that way, but bottom line is, how many hours do you have to do?
Yeah.
Do you work on this?
So I'll give you my, I'll give you a couple of different options. If you want to get through the whole thing in 12 weeks and you want to be able to say, I'm done when everybody else is done, I would recommend putting aside like 4 hours a week, attending the live sessions, and also, you know, check into the drop-in hours so that we can help make sure you're moving forward. However, there are individuals who sign up for the work group and who say, you know what, I don't have that kind of time to put in. I want to do it on demand when my schedule allows. So they attend the live meetings that they can. They watch recorded sessions for those that they miss, and they take their time and they go through things a little more slowly, but they attend the drop-in hours, and I'm able to help them move through it. And at the end of the group, we're brainstorming together on next steps. Some of them decide they want to sign up for another 12-week group because they want to take their time and they don't want to be forced to go at a certain pace. And that's, it's basically up to you if you need to slow down, or if life gets in the way and things need to go more slowly, then that is certainly an option for you.
Mhm.
Once the 12-week is over, will you still have access to the course if you want to revisit? How does that work?
Yes, ma'am. So I don't delete any of the videos. I leave the Facebook group that we have all of the lessons and tools and everything in. I leave that. I do not delete that. You have access to that. And I'll say for a minimum of a year, but I don't have any plans to delete it. So it could be, you know, indefinite. But the other thing is, when the group is over, I have like an alumni Facebook group that I will also invite you to, so that, because as a member of my work group, you know, I want you to continually stay engaged with some of your other authors. And I will, you know, I do put on meetings, like free meetings for authors and things like that. So I want to keep you engaged, and I want you to have the ability to ask questions. So I do move folks into the advanced group for anyone that wants to stay connected.
Is the group big right now, or is it a small, quaint group?
We have, I would say 18 signed up right now. So it's good. I mean, not everybody's going to attend all at once, but so we'll probably end up with like half of them, like 10 people in the live groups. And then depending on, how things go, we're going to have discussions in a Facebook group. So you'll get to know each other and you'll get to provide feedback. So it ends up being a really good size and a good network, because one of the things I love about creating a network like this is when your book is ready to go live, you will have worked with these individuals all the way through this 12 weeks, built relationships. They're there watching you and cheering you on the same way that you're cheering them on. And so when your book goes live, not only are you getting the benefit of your own network, but these authors are sharing information with their networks and they're helping each other, which just does my heart good, because that's why I started this group, is to create a network and a community where 1 + 1 = 5, where you just really grow and expand the opportunities just by bringing this community together.
I'm just trying to figure out if I would have the time. I have another question. So do you ultimately use Amazon Publishing? Is that ultimately how we would publish it?
So there's lots of different options that we can work through. We go through the process of discussing print on demand versus actually ordering print books and selling them yourself. Some people decide they don't want anything to do with Amazon. They just want to publish a book and they don't want to list it. They want to be able to sell it on their own website. They want to go, do school visits, craft fairs, things like that. And that's fine. Some are just creating a book for their own purposes, like for a legacy project. So they don't care about Amazon. Others, we have to remember though, Amazon is a huge marketplace. And it is like the #1 marketplace that brings everybody on Amazon is there looking to buy something.
That's where I buy my books.
Yep. So if that's where you're able to get your book going there, and I will go through the process of creating a listing that will get attention, getting some great keywords and categories for your book so that you can become a #1 new release and get that bestseller badge. And we also go through ads. How do you create an ad? And I walk through, especially for those that are dropping into the 2-hour slot. They want help with like, okay, I think I've got this ready to go. Can you help me create an ad? Or can you show me what I'm doing wrong because my ads are not getting the impressions that they need to. So I'm able to do that as well. Now, this work group isn't for everybody. If you don't feel like you have the time and you prefer, I'm also available just to do some one-on-one coaching on demand as you need to outside of this group. So, I think it's a great group and a great opportunity. But in order to be successful, you really do need to have time to commit to it.
Yeah, because I have like no clue whatsoever. I literally have no clue whatsoever where to begin, where to end, where to just, I actually got your name. It's kind of funny. I have a daycare and I read both books to Divya, the first one being the Milo. You know who I'm talking about, right? Divya Mohan.
Yes.
Okay. And so she actually did a Facebook Live with my kids and read the Corona book that she has out.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was awesome. And my kids loved it and learned so much from it. And I had previously started writing this other book, like and I've always wanted to write a book. And she's the one that actually sent me to you, who ironically enough, like she's in Australia and she gives me your link, and I live in Bristol, Rhode Island.
Oh, how funny.
And whenever I saw Pawtucket, I was like, what?
That's
So it was
great.
really,
We
yeah.
can get together for coffee.
Yes.
Once
But
all this
so
craziness goes away.
isn't that crazy though, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I had to get your name through her. So anyway, I feel very lost because I really want to get this book out. But I also have so much on my plate that part of me is like, am I going to be able to do it? I don't like to do things half-assed. So, but from what you said, it seems like this is the stepping stones that I would probably need because I don't have a clue.
Right. And you may be one of those that needs to go through it more than once to be, maybe the first time through is more about you learning. And the second time through is you actually implementing what you've learned, learning more, and creating the book. Or you need, I do have many people that do that just decide, I want to learn, so I'm going to join the group, but I'm not quite ready to put in all the work yet. And then they decide when they're ready, they either do one-on-one coaching with me, or they just sign up for a new group, and then it helps them stay on track with the actual book project.
Yeah, that might be an avenue. Okay, so when do we have to let you know by?
So right now the signups are going on, and you're able to get in through the here's the address, www.thelittlelabradoodle.com author-workgroup. So you'll go in, it shows you all the different details, and you can register online, and then you'll get the information for the login, but our day one is on Thursday. So I probably am going to close. I might give it a few days after that for anybody that wants to get started, because I don't mind if they're watching one video, they missed one meeting, but I don't want them to get too far into it. So within the next week or so, I'll probably turn that off and just start putting people on a waiting list for the next one.
Yeah, if I could just figure out my. Go ahead, sorry. I'm talking to myself.
Latressa, did you have a question?
Yes. And I don't even know if this question actually makes sense. How should I say this? I'm going to give an example, like on Amazon. You know how they have brand new books for sale on Amazon, and then they have, I guess you would call it maybe third party, where they're selling used books. Is there a way that you can control that as an author, or is that something that Amazon does?
So there's some different things going on with that. With Amazon, when you enter your own book, so let's just do this. I Will Always Love You. This is one of my authors that launched her book a short while ago and has an issue with that. Dr. Bree Turns. So talk about gorgeous, high quality books, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty book.
That's pretty.
You wouldn't think that this was, but this was done in the 12-week period, just launched. And when she goes in here, she mentioned to me the other day that, now look, #1 new release, this is what we strive for. Here's
where?
#1 new release.
Oh.
So she's got that, and she's also a bestseller or she has had the bestseller badge, so she's probably got some other things. Let me look at, and we set up this gorgeous listing so that we can do some special things with, these are called A+ pages. So right now she's #1 in this category. So she actually is a bestseller. And the only reason why it's showing best new category or #1 new release is because of the age of the book. As soon as it's no longer a new release, it's going to end up showing a bestseller badge. So this, but anyway, so I'm going to go on to here, and where it says, let's look at the paperbacks. I think it was in paperback or hardcover, where you had that issue. Yeah, so when you list your book, sometimes it will come up, you know, other individuals who are sellers. So you can see other sellers on Amazon. So they list your book. And a lot of times this happens because Amazon has this feed. It gets sent out to everybody. Sometimes it's Ingram Spark. And a lot of these guys that buy in, they have a discount because of the type of vendor that they are. They get discounted. So they'll take a new book and they'll just say, okay, I'm going to list it higher. And if people actually buy from them, they're just going to turn around and buy your book and sell it at a higher price. So they have these kinds of things. And occasionally these books get the buy box, so that when somebody's up here, you'll see this is called the buy box. So if somebody does a buy now, instead of it being you selling it, it ends up being one of them. So there are some steps you can take with Amazon to say, hey, I want these listings merged. This is my book. They're, you know, intruding on my ability to sell my own book. And it's just a step-by-step process to get them eliminated from there, and you can address the issue. So yeah, so that's some of what we do as part of the process of listing. We want to make sure that we have beautiful descriptions. We want to make sure we watch the buy box, because right now this is her book, right? This is her listing. So somebody else has the buy box. So we need to address that with Amazon, and that's one thing that we're doing now. Okay. Yeah.
And how do you usually tell that that's happening? Is there a way of telling that?
Well, it's just because I know for a fact that we listed her book at $17.99, and this is definitely her listing. So somebody else has, you know, tweaked some things, and now all of a sudden, you know, it's their book that's coming up as the hardcover price, where we're selling that hardcover for $17.99. They have no business being the one that shows here. So it's just a matter of working through that with Amazon and getting that switched. And it's, you know, it's just a matter of going through the contact, getting the listing merged, and making sure that Bree is the one that's going to get it.
Yeah.
In a backwards way, she does still get the sale, because this guy will end up buying her book, and in order to sell it.
Yeah, but he's making a profit.
We don't want her losing hardcover sales because somebody doesn't want to spend $26, where it's available from her on Prime, so they can get free shipping. So this is a much better deal, and that needs to be up on top first and foremost, so that she doesn't lose sales over it. Yeah.
So do all the books end up being in Kindle and then hard copy and then paperback?
That's what I typically recommend, is that they do. So in this case, Bree is doing on demand. So we publish the Kindle, publish the paperback. These are through Amazon's KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing.
Okay.
And then we're also doing the hardcover through Ingram Spark, and that's print on demand as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would we have templates and stuff that we would go, like, what, would we have a program we would use?
It's just I'll walk you step by step through the whole process, but it's just creating an account with Amazon for KDP, a KDP account,
Yeah.
and going through the process of uploading and setting up your Amazon listing, uploading your files, and pricing your book. It's all part of the self-publishing process.
But where do you actually put your information into your computer on a program?
Yeah, so
I'm missing a little link, a little loop here.
yeah, so here is Amazon. This is the Amazon account. I'll just log in as myself. So it's kdp.amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sign in, this is my bookshelf. And these are the books that I've published that are all here. So you just are basically adding your Kindle, your paperback, and you're creating and publishing right through this KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing interface.
So where it says draft here, you're still working on that. Is that correct?
I kind of use this as a test area, so that if my graphic designer works on something and I want to see how it's going to look, I'll throw it in here. But these others, I've got, this is live, this is live, this is live. I just use that one as a test to be able to look further.
I guess my question I'm asking is, do you keep adding to it as you're going along, or do you just upload everything at the end?
So yeah, you upload everything when it's ready to go after the graphic designer has gone through the formatting of the book. And if after you publish it, you want to make some tweaks, you can come back in here and make those tweaks, update it, and then republish, and it'll publish over it.
Okay, so what do you use for the upload? Because you somehow have to be working on it, right? So do you use a program in our computer?
So it's typically the illustrations, your text that you write, which is your manuscript, plus the illustrations from your illustrator get sent over to somebody who does the graphic design and formatting for you, and then they send you the files that you can use.
Oh.
And then you're just uploading the files here. So that's my preferred way. Some people will do it themselves, and there are computer programs you can use. And it looks like I've run over our time slot. So, but if you're interested in a one-on-one and kind of exploring some of this stuff more, Ruth, you can feel free to go ahead and grab some time on my calendar.
Okay.
If you go to my website, you'll see a free coaching session. So I'm glad to give you like a free one-on-one just to kind of explore things a little further and answer some of your more detailed questions that are specific to your own book. And that, may help you to decide which way to go or how you want.
I just want kind of like a big picture to decide if it's something that I can dive into, with everything else going on. So, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that because, I have my Zoom next too. So thank you, April. I appreciate your
welcome.
info, and I will definitely get in touch with you.
Okay,
So,
good thing. Great.
Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
gonna leave.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, April. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's
Hello.
good.
So let me see. I have got Latrissa. Bye, Latrissa. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I have both of you on my thing here, and I'm trying to figure out who do I have. Is this for a regular? I guess I'm trying to figure out if I'm missing a meeting on my calendar here.
For me, April?
Yeah, yeah.
I know that we spoke last Tuesday, and I got a weekly Zoom invite. So
So maybe I'm looking at the wrong. Let me just look here. Ah, no, actually I don't have it on my thing here. So it's, what's the recurring meeting invite for you, Sarah?
let me
Is it
pull
8 to 9 on Tuesdays?
I believe so.
Just take a look.
I was just there. Let me get back to it. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, it says weekly from 8 to 9 on Tuesday Eastern time. So yeah, but if you double booked, it's really not a big deal. I can just hop on sometime whenever you're free. It's not a problem. Whatever works.
And Leah, let me just get you off of mute. Are you, I know we have been going back and forth, Leah, with times. Do you, and I saw you on my calendar for Thursday's recurring visit. What's your availability for today? Would you want to have like you and me meet now, and then I can, Sarah, if that works for you to do 9, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, that should be fine. I can just hop back on in 50 minutes or so.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No worries at all. I will talk to you in a little bit then.
Okay. Take care.
Alrighty. Bye, ladies.
Hi, Leah.
April, how are you? You're such a busy lady.
I'm so sorry about I did a intro session for the work group, and I had only a couple of people, but then it went a little over, and I don't know what's going on with my stupid calendaring application. So I've got to figure out where this keeps getting messed up.
Yeah,
So my apologies. I'm glad that you and I are able to connect.
yeah, likewise. And I don't know if you got my text, but I never got the calendar invite for tonight, and I don't know if that maybe has something to do with it as well. But yeah, maybe it ended up. Sometimes I'll share an invite and it will end up in like another month or something.
Oh, sheesh, maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, so I will, yeah, let me stop the recording from